Hi, I'm Cameron. It's been a little while since the last time I made a video. Maybe this is the first time that we're meeting. If it's not, welcome back, and if it is, it's nice to meet you, as I always say, or something to that extent. Um, I don't really have a big revelation to share. I don't have some big life update moving on or anything like that. Um, Work is still going well. It's going really well, actually. It's continuously going really well. Um, I'm still reading again. Still got a lot of books left to read. Got a lot of books left to make videos about. Um, I mean, overall, it's like on paper, I'm doing good. You know, on paper, I'm doing good. But despite that, I'm kind of just not doing good. Um, I feel like I've said it multiple times in other videos, but again, in case you're brand new, um, I basically have done everything that I intended to do, everything that I set out to do. I've accomplished that. So now I'm still kind of stuck, just feeling like, what am I supposed to do next? And spending a lot of time trying to figure out what exactly that looks like. But the same things that I talked about in the video that I made when I moved into this apartment are plaguing me to the same extent, almost. I still feel this fundamental disconnect from other people. And I will say, the more that I work, the more I do my job and I do my best to do it well, the better my opinion of people has gotten over time. Of people. I think I said of people. The more people that I meet, and the more I talk to people, and the more perspective that I get on things, I do feel like I don't hate people anymore, which is a pretty big thing for me to say. But I don't feel anything that motivates me to keep going. I don't feel anything that, like, gives me this unyielding drive to better myself or to put my 100% into something. I had this exchange with an older gentleman the other day at work where I was cleaning something. He comes up to me and he's like, "Working hard?" And I turn to him and I'm like, "Hardly working." And he's like, "That's how you do it." I'm like, "Yeah, I only ever put 60% in every day." And he said, "They only pay you for 40. Why would you try any harder?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And he's like, "Keep up the good work, kid. You're doing good." He walked away with his coffee or whatever. And I feel like that's almost how my life is now. Before, where it was this constant struggle day in and day out for survival, it now it's just fine. I don't need to try anymore. I don't hate myself. I don't hate people anymore. I don't even blame all the people who did horrible stuff to me for anything anymore. It's like, whatever. I don't care. Are the bags under my eyes really that much worse than normal? Is that I don't know if that's just the lighting, but that's like a visible thing on my end too. That almost looks like I'm not like doing well at all. Jeez. If any eye bagologists in the audience know how to deal with that or what like this sullen, depressed expression in my eyes like Robert Pattinson and Batman. Why I have that, that'd be appreciated if you could like let me any like theologists, any astrophysicists in the comments who could explain that, that'd be nice. But I feel like I'm doing good. I know that I'm doing good. Objective things are happening to me that imply that things are good, and I'm not depressed anymore. I'm not sad. I just don't care about anything anymore. There's nothing that makes me want to try hard. And that used to be Tekken. I talked about that a lot, but even when I go back to Tekken now, it's like not fun anymore. I hit max rank and it was like not fun at all. It didn't seem like anybody was having fun. And it's like, well, maybe I could try a different fighting game. And it's like, I don't like Tekken. I don't like Street Fighter. I don't like anything that Arc System Works makes. I don't like anything that French Bread makes, especially French Bread. Those games suck. You guys know it. I don't like Mortal Kombat. I mean, Virtua Fighter maybe, but I don't really like Virtua Fighter that much. So maybe it just needs to be some type of competitive game, and it's like I don't like Deadlock. I don't like team-based games. Because then it's like, well, it's not my fault that the team lost. It's the team's fault that the team lost. Like, we lost together as a unit. And for me, that doesn't just mean, oh, it's not my fault that we lost. I'm the greatest ever. That's not what that means. It means even in the instances where the team successfully works together and wins, I don't feel like I'm fulfilled on a personal level on account of that. It doesn't feel like we won because of something that I did. We won because the team did with something together. And those environments are so negative to begin with. I don't really know what I'm looking for anymore. I try to make new friends through video games, and I encounter these people who are so immature that even though they're nearing their mid 30s, they still scream at the top of their lungs about soy jacks and soy and pogging and beta males and cucks, and this is just how these people talk. And to me, it's like, I don't like that. I think it's weird. I mean, quite frankly, I think it's like the behavior of a loser. I don't know, but like when you're like halfway through your life, when you like just start to finally bridge that gap into adulthood. I'm not even an adult yet. I'm 25. I'm like a 5-year-old baby. But like when you're at that point where it's like you're bridging the gap into like true maturity and true adulthood, and you're still just screaming in internet chat rooms about anime girls, it's like I feel like that energy could be put towards something more meaningful, something that matters. And maybe to these people, that's what matters to them. They want to go on the internet and they want to go on certain websites and yell at each other all day or pretend to be anime girls all day. But I don't want to do that. That's weird. That's a waste of time. And I struggle to find a connection with somebody who isn't like that anymore. It seems like anybody who has a living room that looks like this is just... I'm not... What does that angle look like? Okay, there you go. Anybody who has a living room that looks like this, you know, it's like they just default into this weird category of being like incapable of talking to members of the opposite sex. Like they can't go outside. The concept of seeing the sun scares them, and all they do is complain about their job every day, and they only have, you know, consumptory hobbies and spend too much money, can't manage their finances, like all these different things. It's like, what do you mean there's a connection between escapism and like ineptitude? Crazy, I know, right? But I feel like I turned out okay. Even though my overlap is with all of this, the stuff that I care about. I'm going to gesture again with my hand. I don't feel like I can't handle myself in a conversation. I don't feel like I can't talk to people. I don't feel like I can't talk to, you know, members of the opposite sex. I don't feel like I'm incapable of going outside. I don't have these social hang-ups or these little bits of anxiety of like, what if something bad happens when I meet somebody new? And that's despite having every right to feel that way. I mean, everywhere I went, I couldn't make friends. Does that just mean there's something wrong with me? I mean, in the eyes of society, maybe, but I feel like I handle myself. I feel like I handle myself the same way that I did when I was in those extreme situations with people who were actively out to get me, where you're the problem, Cameron. You need to get out of here. You need to change for our sake. I feel like I'm the same person now as to how I was then, and I'm doing better in the long term because of that. And a lot of these people that, like, you know, you run into somebody and you kind of try to ignore them, or you, like, you know, check in For one reason or another, you find out what these people are up to, and they're miserable. I mean, like, I don't think I'm the problem when in college I get a random text message from somebody being like, "Hey, are you free tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" Like, "Well, we'll tell you when you get here." And I'm like, "Well, what's wrong? Is there a problem?" And it's like, "We'll tell you when you get here." And I get put into a van and driven out to the middle of nowhere and then told like, "Hey, you're a problem in the group. We're kicking you out. You got to fix your act." What kind of maniac takes somebody and puts them in a van and then drives them out in the middle of nowhere? I tried to get out of the van and they jumped out and were like, "Cameron, we can't let you by yourself. We can't trust you to be by yourself right now." And then I'm the problem in this situation. This is a therapy session now, in case you weren't aware. In case you didn't figure out the purpose of these videos, it's not for your benefit. But if you get some benefit out of it, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. But I know that my perspective is biased because it's my perspective and I'm going to believe in like what I believe in, obviously, right? But when I remove myself from the equation and I look at all of the actions I've taken in my life and I lay them down flat, I don't even with what I know about being alive now, I don't see the actions of somebody who ever went out of their way to hurt somebody or ever went out of their way to, I don't know, be a bad person, I guess. And the point I'm making here is that I am who I am because of the books on my shelf. Because of the, cheap $20 Walmart katanas that I keep on my shelf. Because of my knife collection. Because of my Gundams. My Gunpla, if you will. I'm sorry for the two people who build Gunpla who heard me refer to them as my Gundams. But for my plushies, my anime, my wall scroll that I don't have a place to hang because there's no hooks in this new apartment, or my tower of pizza boxes I haven't thrown out yet. I'm who I am today and who I'm proud of being and who is making positive differences in his life and trying to be a positive person for other people because of all of that. I didn't have like any role models growing up. I just watched Rocky and I was like, I need to be better. I need to be a better person. I need to be stronger. I have to be there for the people that I care about. I watched Gurren Lagann and I was like, I have to believe in, the me who believes in myself. I watched Ippo and I started working out. I watched Dragon Ball like everybody else did and I felt something swell up in my heart for the first time. I mean, why is it that whenever I try to interact with people who have that same interest, it's always some psycho with 3,000 hours on VR chat, I don't know what to do. I don't. And I talked about it briefly before, but when I went to Japan, it felt like that was a place where I could like those things, and there were other people who liked those things, and they were normal people. Because in Japan, like, the way I would explain it is that everybody in America knows who Deadpool is now, right? Everybody knows about. I was working with a customer, and they like had some milk, and it had like a picture of Gamora on it, right? And I said, "Oh, you got your Gamora juice," or something like that. And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, Gamora is on this, honey. They got Gamora on this." And his wife was like, "What's that? Oh, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love Gamora. I love Drax too." And it's like this. That is insane to me. I got beaten up for liking Pokemon when I was a kid. I got shoved into mud puddles for liking Pokemon as a kid. And now we have these like this beautiful geriatric couple of like 40 years deeply madly in love talking about Drax the Destroyer. So it's like everybody knows about that stuff now, right? In Japan, it's the same way. It's like that same normality in the same way that you would walk into a grocery store here and buy a pack of cigarettes. I wouldn't, because smoking's for losers, and if you smoke, you're a loser and you should stop because you're better than that. You would like, you can just buy like, oh, the new Baki volume's out, let's go. Or like, oh, here's like your, it's not a porn mag, you know what I mean, but like, so much about what I find meaning in was considered normal over there. It's like, hey, have you seen Kamen Rider? And here it's like, what's that? Now it would be like, yeah, duh. Asking somebody if they've seen Kamen Rider in Japan would probably be the equivalent of asking somebody if they've seen a baseball game in America. In America. And I'm not necessarily saying I need to uproot my life and go live in Japan. Oh, moshi moshi, watashi wa Cameron desu. Watashi wa sugoi gaijin desu. Yeah! I'm not saying that would just magically make my life better, because the problem I have right now is a lack of desire, a lack of motivation. And motivation is fleeting. You need to do things in your life that you have to accept the fact that sometimes you just don't have motivation for it. I don't need motivation to get out of bed every morning and go to work. I just do it. That's diligence. But I could work through that. When there were things that I cared about, I could work through not having the motivation, and I could just do it. That's why I graduated college. That's why I did archery for like 10 years, and I was perfectly fine at it. I mean, I thought I was okay at it. But it's not like I'm not capable of these things. It's that I just don't have them anymore. Like, when I started my new job, I was working really, really, really hard at the start. I really wanted to do a good job. But now I show up and I just, like, half-ass everything. I put zero effort in. I don't even try. I blink and half the day is gone, and I'm like, what? I'm not even conscious for it anymore. But that's the thing about it. I am way better at my job now than I was when I first started, because that's habituation. You get used to doing the same things over and over and over and over and over again, and that's why eventually you kind of run on autopilot. I mean, I'm sure some of you have had it happen before where you get in your car to drive somewhere and then you're there and you're like, what? How did I get here? You know, autopilot, habituation. You just get used to doing it. So I already know I'm capable of working hard because I do that when I go to work every day. Even if, like, the minimum level of working hard has lessened to a point to where I don't need to work hard. I don't need to put, like, 100% into what I'm doing to get 100% of the result anymore. I'm still capable of working hard. I still do my job. But what is left for me? Where do I get stronger? What is the purpose of my life? Where do I go from here? Because there are things I cared a lot about when I was 20, even just a couple of years ago. When I was 20, when I was 15, there are things that I used to care a lot about that don't mean anything to me anymore. And I haven't found anything to replace that. Money is not hard to get. You just get a job. And having a job you don't hate, that's a lot harder. I have a job I don't hate. And I was after, like, having almost 10 jobs that I hated with every fiber of my being that made the bags under my eyes look a lot darker than they are right now. And so I have that. So what am I supposed to do now? Like, get a girlfriend and then get her pregnant, get married, and then find a job that pays better and have a big giant house and then just, like, farm that out for, like, 20 years until my kids grow up and then they're good to go? Like, I understand why so many people don't struggle with finding purpose in their lives, because that's the through line. If you meet somebody that you like and you fall in love and you want to start a family, there you go. That's your purpose. But I haven't met anybody that I feel that way about, where it's like, let's start a family. And if I did, that would be something to work towards, you know? Like, if I woke up one day and I found out that one of the many, many beautiful women that I shared an intimate moment with in college were like, hey, Cameron, you're the dad, I'd be like, all right, let's do it. Super dad, let's go. Taking care of that 24/7. I would die for that little boy and or girl, whatever's all right to say these days. Zero doubt, 100%. The few times I've had to take care of children, it's like I lock in and I'm like, all right, beast mode, baby. We're taking care of these kids. We're making sure that they're okay. And I mean, in the instances where I've worked with children as a part of jobs that I've done, I didn't have any problem with that either. I didn't have any anxiety. I had coworkers having, like, panic attacks or mental breakdowns because the kids are making fun of them, and I'm like, they're kids, who cares? This is like getting upset that a dog barks at you. It's like, it's not our job. Like, our job is to make sure that they understand, like, how to take care of themselves. We give them the tools that they need to be okay. And I'm like a blacksmith, you know, I can make whatever tool is required for the situation, but I don't have any blueprints. I don't have a frame of reference for what tool needs to be made. If a meteor was about to crash into my apartment and I had to, like, parry it, I would, like, all right, I'm gonna, like, tap into, like, the ancient, like, essence that lay deep within dormant inside of me, and I'm gonna, like, parry that meteor back into the stratosphere. We're gonna be all good. If I got a call from, like, my buddy over in Philly, and he was like, Cameron, you gotta get here right now. Our hentai is in danger. I'd be like, I'm on my way. I already booked my plane ticket. He's like, you can't. The planes are compromised. I'm like, all right. I already stole a car. I already hijacked everything. Let's go. If the president of the United States called me and was like, Cameron, we need you to stop the problem. You're the only guy we have who can stop the problem. You gotta go defeat the Russians. You gotta go defeat the evil in the Midwest. I'd be like, Mr. President, sign me up. Yes, sir. Mr. President, sir. And I would handle it myself. Easily. But I feel like everybody has that potential inside of themselves. I feel like when the situation arises, when the call to action echoes across the landscapes, our dulled senses reawaken, and we have that opportunity to be who we're supposed to be. But I don't have that. I'm just some guy. I'm just some normal person like you are. You know, normal guy, girl, some nebulous third or eighth thing. And that's where the lack of purpose is. You know, it's like that one Japanese guy who really wanted to go to America to, like, hit on cute boys. You know, what was his name? Yukio Mishima? That was his whole problem. He wanted to be a samurai. He wanted to, like, walk around the countryside and cut people in half. And he was born during, like, World War II or something. And he was like, I can't be a samurai because the fighting's all over. What's the point of my life? And he killed himself. I'm not saying I'm going to do that. But it's like that sentiment where it's like the great war that we're facing on a day-to-day basis isn't, you know, it's not like a physical threat. Even though there's plenty of physical threats happening even in America right now or in other countries, wherever, I don't know. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. I just play video games. But, like, the Great War is the one that is within us. That struggle to find purpose in a world where everything is effectively solved. And that's what leads to most of the problems that we face in contemporary society. Ask yourself this question. How many people do you know come from an upper middle class neighborhood that have so many more problems than you have? And then you ask them to explain it, and they just sound like the most like nothing problems. Period. Like they just have like nothing going on. It's like they need to make up things to get angry about to give their life purpose. And for me, the thing that I made up to get angry about was Tekken. It was archery. And now that I've overcome that, I don't know what to do now. And that's what this video is about, really, is that I'm at this point to where I'm good at dealing with people. I have a nice apartment. I'm pretty alright, happy-ish with my, like, physical health. I don't feel like I have any of the unhealthy behaviors that I had when I was in college. And I mean, I don't have like horrible people who like talk shit about me nonstop in like Discord private messages 24/7 in my life anymore. Cause you know, that's like a waste of time. It was a waste of time while it was happening. And if anybody watching this did that, you know who you are. And if anybody here who does something like that, you're kind of just a loser. Like, get a life, you know? Get a life. Period. Get a life. I have a life and I don't know what to do with it because I've been so used to not having it. So, if any of you have similar experiences or you're going through something similar right now,
feel free to share that. It always helps me out when people feel comfortable talking about their own experiences in the comments and whatnot. But yeah, I don't have like some big great point. I'm not gonna be like, I walked 5 miles today. Here's what I learned. I was just feeling kind of sad, just feeling kind of depressed, and whenever I get like that, grab a camera, just talk it out, because I just need to get it off my chest, and that makes me feel better. So, thank you for watching, because for some reason, hearing me talk about this seems to help other people too, which is cool. So thank you for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I'm feeling better now too. I don't have much else to say. Things are good. I'm gonna, I don't know, go play more Borderlands or something. I'm gonna go eat like a gallon of ice cream and make myself feel worse by having a bad diet or something like that. I'm gonna go practice parrying meteors. That's gonna happen, and this guy's gonna be ready for it. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.